Hi and welcome back to Tech It Out. In the last video I left you with the Enermax 360 AIO, which was causing the system to overheat. It was idling around late 50s, early 60s up to the mid to high 70 degrees centigrade. Now I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, you'll have to look it up, but it's way higher than it should be. For comparison, my air cooler, my Noctua, keeps it at around 42 to 48 degrees idling and peaking at around 65 to 70 degrees under full load. I didn't even put it under full load just in case it went up way above the threshold for damaging the system. So I removed the Enermax from the system, and today we're going to have a look at what's causing this. Now I'm fairly sure I know what it is, and I have reached out to Enermax for a quote and see if they've resolved the issue in any way. But all they've done is come back to me a couple of times and say, well, get onto support and get a replacement or a repair. And that's not what I want, really. I want something to say, well, this is what it was and this is what we've done to fix the problem. So let's get on and see what the problem is. First thing we have to do is disassemble the system. Now there's a couple of ways that we can do this. The first and easiest way, though, is to drain the system down by taking the feed tubes off, and then we can have a look at the block itself. So we'll get the feed tubes off first. Now to do that, if I move this across a little, we have two very tiny screws here in the top, which releases the feed tubes, and they're just like little pins that go through, and then the tubes will pull out. So we need to remove those. I'm going to have to be very careful, as they're tiny little screws and they could strip if I'm not careful. This one seems to be coming out okay. The other thing I do have here is I have a white bowl to put the liquid into. And that's the first pin. And the second one's come out as well, which is good. So I should be able to get her apart. That's the second pin. Now these are tiny little pins. As you can see, the thread is just at the top there, and the rest of it is just a piece of metal bar, very thin metal bar. So now we have them out, we need to release the two tubes. Now I need to lift it up a little because I don't want any of the liquid falling out. Some is bound to come out from the block itself. So I'll just put the block to the side a moment and bring the bowl in, because what I want to do is see what this liquid is and see what's in it. So let's drain the radiator. And it's like a urine coloured liquid. Doesn't seem to be a great deal in there. Still coming out. And I'm going to flush this radiator through later. But already I can see, there's more coming out now. I can see the problem immediately without even going any further. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick this up, but I'll try and get a close-up of it in a moment. I think that's almost everything out. So let's put that down. Now I do not know if you can see very well. Let's just get a little. I'll try to zoom in. Hopefully it'll retain focus. I'm not sure if you can actually see this, but there are quite a number there. There. In fact, they're all over, everywhere. It's crud basically, and what it is, well, bits of tarnish and where the two metals have interacted with each other, and the electrolytes have basically done their work and caused corrosion inside. And these are the corrosive little bits of crud that have come off. I hope you can see that well enough in that. I'll try and just make sure that the focus is fully in focus for you. So this might shake the camera a bit while I do this. So we just make sure it's in focus. And again, I just tip it up. You can see all the bits floating around in the water there. Now, why is that important, you say? Okay, it's a few bits. Remember, these coolers are built behind this copper plate with very thin fins on the top on the other side, and those fins help with the cooling, and they are very, very fine microfins, so anything at all really. Let's just zoom back out. Anything at all can block those fins quite easily. Here we have the cooler, and the next thing really is to disassemble this and have a look what's inside this. Now, on top here we have 4 more of those small screws. We have a multitude of screws on the bottom, and then we have 2 on the side. I believe the 2 on the side are probably for the bracket itself, or maybe not. Does that just slip off? It's very slippery now, as you'd expect. Should have brought some paper with me as well. Then, oh, there we go. So that's the bracket off and out of the way. So next we're going to have a look inside this. I'm sure the problem is going to be in the bottom, so we're going to start at the bottom. Now I've got to find the right tool to fit this. So I'm looking for a star. And that one's a bit too small. And again, I don't want to strip anything. That seems to be the size. I'll try and make sure by going one more size up. That's an even better fit. And the next size up again will probably be too big. Yeah. Let's get the base plate off and see what's under here. There should be an O-ring that seals it, or a rubber seal of some sort. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off as I would a cooler by going at opposite sides so as not to warp anything. So now we need to lift the cooler plate off. It should just lift off now, hopefully. It's a little bit stuck, I think. Maybe not, maybe I have to take these out as well. But I thought they were just extra feed holes. Let's get a larger size for them. Yes, I think these are just extra feed holes. What we can do from there now is just empty out if there's anything that's in there. Still a little in there. And now we got to get this base plate off. It's not wanting to come off. I've got some... I think I need to get a little bit of paper to wipe this off. So let's just wipe this down a little. Whatever this fluid is quite slippery as well, making it difficult to take hold of the unit. And there's lots of smoke coming out. Hopefully now we can get the cover off. It is loose. It's just getting a grip on it. We'll try a little thin bit perhaps. You put it in the hole and just prise it up. Oh, bit came out. No, that doesn't want to work. Okay, then we'll go about it the other way. And we'll do it from the other side by taking these last 4 out. Let's make sure that they are. No, they're not. What type of screw are they? They look like a smaller version of that. Have I got one that small? Ah, right, now we got there. The only editing I'll do on this is to cut out the boring bits where I'm looking for a bit of paper, or indeed speed up some bits where I'm unscrewing a multitude of screws. That's the 4 screws off there, and that's the top plate off. So I'm going to put that to the side, and underneath you can see the motor, and we got 4 screws in there as well, which is probably part of holding that base plate on. So let's just take them out as well. I think it's probably that the base plate is just sealed to the bottom there by the seal itself, and these are just holding the motor in, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to get the base plate through this by taking the motor out and then be able to push it off. So will the motor come out now? No. Oh, they certainly over-engineer this. There's another 4 screws. So kudos to Enermax for their build quality. It's just their technical quality that I'm actually calling into question today. So that's the 8 screws holding the motor pump in, and that now comes out, and there's the pump itself. Just some little tiny fins there, and as the impeller spins, it throws the water into the various pipes. You can see there is a seal in there, and now I've lifted it up. I'm waiting to show you this because it actually has proved exactly what I thought it was. I'm lifting it up to show you the seal there, and look at this. Can you see all the corrosion and crud that's built up through whatever the liquid is they've used in here, which has not been a neutral electrolytic, and the metals, the 2 metals have corroded together, and all this crud. Can you see it there? There is so much of it has blocked the inlet and the outlet. So basically the impeller was spinning and nothing was going anywhere. There's the inlet, there's the outlet, and the crud is absolutely everywhere. So yes, this is why you shouldn't buy an Enermax, in my opinion. They haven't told me that they fixed this problem, so I can't really recommend that you buy an Enermax, because 6 months down the line you could be facing this yourself, an overheating system, due to the fact that the actual cooler cannot, and I can't get the, I'm trying to not take this out of shot, but it's stuck to the table. See if I can get it up. I don't want to take it out of shot and then be accused of anything. Typical, it's stuck to the table. Let me find a bit of thin plastic. There we go. Squeeze underneath it. One thing you can say is definitely a flat surface because it is literally stuck. I'm going to have to, you can see it on there. I'm not going to change anything. So I'm just going to slide it out to the edge so I can lift it up. There we go. See the muck on there. So I'm going to zoom in again. And hopefully you can see this is absolutely, this is incredible. That's the seal itself. I'll just lift off the seal because that goes back on there anyway. But this, I'm not sure if this cover's supposed to be on here. I think it is because it's some sort of a silicone perhaps, or plastic. But can you see everything is completely blocked? Every single bit of this cooler is blocked. So there's no water flow basically going through it. No water flow, no cooling. Everything that was happening, this was heating up, the little bit of water going up the tube to the radiator was heating up. And that was it. There was no water actually flowing through to provide cooling. This is terrible. This is such bad technical design. The quality of the materials is fine, but the fact that they've used a liquid without a corrosive in it, or whatever is in it that's gone solid like this, is inexcusable. And about a 6-month-old cooler system, absolutely useless because of it. So in conclusion then, well, what can I say? Don't buy an Enermax until they have actually said whether or not this has been fixed, because it's money down the drain. You may as well get a standard air cooler system and be assured that you're going to get proper cooling and the full load, and you're not going to ruin your system by overheating it. That's all for now. I'm going to try and clean this up and repair it, put some decent non-ionic water in it, and with probably a car engine anti-corrosive, which will help to prevent this happening again. I'll rinse out the radiator to make sure that's clean and clean up the block, and then probably try and reinstall it and run it and see if it'll work again. Until that video though, for now, from me, thank you for watching.